I'm delighted to be joined by Meera Mahesh, who is one of our LCO music scholars and also one of the co-presidents of the Barts and the London Music Society this year. It's lovely to be joined by you, Meera.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, Meera, this has been a year like no other, hasn't it?
It has indeed.
Can you tell us a little bit about the extraordinary extra feats of work? Because it's quite a challenge being a president or a co-president or a vice president of a music society, because there's a lot of work. But this year, would you say it's been more work than usual?
Well, I wouldn't want to say that, but since you said it, yes, I would say so. I think it's been difficult because obviously music's quite a communal thing. You have to be together to enjoy it. The concerts, you have to be lots of people in the same space, and we haven't been able to do that this year. But what we've done instead is we've done the second best thing, which is we've put together online concerts over the last term, 3 of them, and we've sat and watched them together at the same time over Zoom. And so we've had a bit of that social part of it, but it's been difficult, yeah.
Now, I've been privy to the extraordinary levels of work that you've gone to, and the amount of editing of materials, the sheer weight of pressure to meet deadlines. Editing is not a quick job, is it?
No, it's been many hours. And I think we were, dare I say, helped by the fact that our placement was a bit delayed. So we had flexible learning where we could spend as much time as we wanted doing the music editing and learning how to do the audio and video editing, and then do the lectures at the weekends or in the evenings. So we were helped there, but yeah, it took a long time to get used to it.
Now, one of the things I've not asked you, but I think it's fairly obvious by saying you're at Barts in the London, is that you're studying medicine, which is not a
Yes, I'm.
degree, is it?
Yes,
What year are you in at the moment?
I'm in third year.
So are you on placement this year?
Yes, I am. I started in January.
And tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
So we're doing our medical school placement where we essentially learn all of the clinical skills like taking bloods or putting in cannulas. And we're also getting the chance to speak to patients and be part of the team.
And it's a particularly difficult time to be doing that, isn't it?
It's a strange time to be doing it, yeah. I guess we're quite lucky to be seeing this because I don't think a lot of people have experienced it. But yeah, it's a bit overwhelming sometimes.
I'm sure. Now, would you say, returning to the Music Society, would you say that you've gained a whole series of additional skills this year that you might never have considered that might actually be of great benefit to you in the future as a doctor?
For sure. The leadership skills is something that I haven't really had a lot of experience with before. And really having your idea and trying to sell it to a whole committee, that's a skill that I've never actually had to develop before. And that's something that I developed a lot during the last term, especially when, you're trying to pitch an online concert to people who aren't really happy with it. It's to carry it through is quite difficult, and to keep people motivated and happy is quite difficult. But also juggling all the responsibilities. I mean, you need to do that as an adult, you need to do that as a doctor, and in many other jobs. So lots of skills, lots of communication skills that I've picked up as well. And the optimism of just keep going. I think that's something we all need, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, I remember having a long chat with you many months ago.
Yeah.
We were looking at what was going to be happening this year, and I think it's been even more challenging than we anticipated, hasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. A lot of the roadblocks have come from places I wouldn't expect, but we've managed, haven't we?
We certainly have. I take my hat off to you all. I mean, it really has been a remarkable testament to your passion for music and also your passion for humanity and the desire to make sure that you're going to be bringing people together for a common good. And let's go back to that passion for music. Where did that begin?
So, I mean, like most things, I've got to give credit to my mum. She started, so I've got an older brother, he's 5 years older than me. And so he started playing the violin and piano when he was about 5 years old. And I was a baby at this time, and I must have been listening to this in the womb, having a great time, because by the time it got to when I was around 5, I sat on our little keyboard and I started playing, and my mum saw this and she latched onto it, and she gave me the opportunity to have lessons, piano lessons and violin lessons. So I started when I was about 5. But then due to family reasons, we went back to India when I was about 9. And at this stage, I was about grade 4 at the piano and violin, and I'd started the oboe. But I couldn't have any lessons over there. So because, I mean, again, I've just got to put it down to my parents really, but they really just motivated me. So I ended up kind of teaching myself from grade 4 to grade 7 in India, between the ages of 9 to 12. And then when we came back to England, I picked up lessons again. But that was when I look back, that was a horrific time, really. I wasn't having a very good time, but I'm happy that I kept up with music, because it's obviously led me to so many good opportunities, good times now.
That's an extraordinary feat of self-motivation, and self-motivation is critical to music making, isn't it? Would you say that life without music would be very difficult?
You should ask my flatmates that, because all I do is blast all types of music. I think they would have a better time if we didn't have music. But yeah, for sure. It's just something about playing, listening to it. I just don't think I would be able to live without it. It's so calming, and yeah, it's just a very important part of life, I think.
Now, you're a very fine pianist, and that is what you're a scholar but you're also a very talented violinist and a very talented oboist, and have been involved in the last concert that we did, just, I think, a week before the lockdown, was side by side with the London Sinfonietta, no less, giving the world premiere of a piece. What was it like to be part of that performance?
I mean, stunning. I'm so privileged and honored that I was able to take part in that. And just sitting next to these incredible musicians, it just makes you feel so excited to be playing. It's just such a surreal experience, and I won't ever forget it. It really motivates you to get better, and it makes you realize why you're even doing it in the first place. So yeah, incredible.
Now, that was obviously a memorable experience, but have you got any other particularly wonderful, memorable experiences that, for whatever reason, that you would like to cite?
So this is quite cringy, I would say, but at school we had this prize giving ceremony every single year where you'd get all the people back from university, and all the school would be in this one hall, and it would be an occasion. And my most memorable moment was when I played Fantasy Impromptu by Chopin, and it was in front of the whole school, and all my friends were there, and it was just a great experience, because I was playing in front of so many people. I'd never played in front of that many people before, and yeah.
And that's also another thing, doesn't it? Because being a musician and performing in those sorts of situations requires immense courage. You talk about nerve strain, and you've mentioned that on other occasions. How do you cope with nerve strain?
Well, I think this is actually where being a scholar has helped so much, because the lessons that I have with Maxime, who's my piano teacher, he's just an incredible teacher, and he's helped me a lot with this. I think a lot of it can be put down to actually knowing the music. When it comes to performing music, if you're very confident in what you're doing, and the way to become confident, from what I've learned, is just really know the music, know the melody, just keep practicing, just keep understanding it. And once you've done that, you can pretty much just lose yourself in the performance. I mean, I've rarely got to that. I can't say that I have got to that point with a piece of music yet, but from seeing the way he does it, I think just try and practice as much as possible, and try and just really understand what you're doing, and it does help a lot. Part of the nerves is actually quite exciting, isn't it? I don't think you should not be nervous.
No, absolutely, because actually that leads to complacency. But there is the great Swedish trumpeter, Håkan Hardenberger, who says that in performance, you lose 40% of your technique, which just goes to show how good you have to be, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bring it all off. So you're going to be a doctor. And how is music going to be part of your life in the future?
Well, for the remainder of my university life, I hope to continue lessons, and I hope to continue being a part of the societies, playing concerts. Then after that, well, I'd love to say one of my first purchases with my salary will be a keyboard or at least some kind of piano, but I'm not sure about rent in London. But I really want to be part of orchestras throughout my entire life, or maybe even a concert band if that's possible. But yeah, really engage with that in the community.
One of the things that I was discussing with Emily was the benefits of music, both to physical and mental health. And is there anything that you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I think that music has many benefits for mental health. In fact, just being part of the group, part of the community, is already helping a lot because you get a lot of friends, your social life is much better. But also physically, if you're playing an instrument, you've got, whether it be wind, you've got increased lung stamina, or the thing that I've really focused on in music is I go to the gym as much as possible. And I found that just listening to music when I'm exercising is great. It just relieves so much stress. I think music's got many benefits that need to be studied, actually.
Well, I do know one doctor who said that they would rather employ people who have studied music, principally because of their manual dexterity.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at three particular pieces that you're drawn to. I know you've had trouble with the third one, and you're not quite sure which to go for. But you've chosen a particular work by Rachmaninoff as your first. Would you like to introduce that for us?
Yes, for my first piece, I've picked Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2, which is very stereotypical, but I have to.
And would you like to tell us, because you're going to be much braver than me, to pronounce the name of the performer?
Yes, so the performer, and please forgive me if I do get this wrong, but her name is Katia Buniachvili. That's not it.
I think that's pretty close because, you know, I think it's one of these names that it's very difficult. We see it a lot, but we never actually know how to pronounce it. And we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? Well, we'll go with that. We will go with that. And your second choice, a particular favorite of mine as well, is Prokofiev. Which concerto have you chosen here?
I've chosen his second piano concerto, and this is played by Lauren Zhang. And this was when she won BBC Young Musician 2018.
Now, you were telling me about a performance that you attended. Can you tell us what it was like listening to this exceptional piece live?
It was surreal. Again, the amount of emotion and the way a piece of music can make you feel is just incredible. The cadenza in particular, when the full power of her technique, her talent, and in fact Prokofiev's talent for portraying such melodies, it was incredible. And I'd not been to that many concerts before that point, so seeing her just her raw talent in full display, it was just incredible.
It is an extremely dramatic work, isn't it? Now, you've got a problem with your third piece, not knowing whether to choose the Borodin Polovitsyn dances from Prince Igor or Rimsky-Korsakov's Scheherazade. So we've managed to get them both in. Which are you going to choose?
I think it's going to come down to Scheherazade because it's been my favorite it's been my recent favorite. And I think if I was to pick a defining piece in 2020, it would be that piece. So it's got me through that. I feel like it's got a special place.
Well, of course, Scheherazade is all about a journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you go to remarkable, exotic places, which is exactly what we're not doing now.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very lovely choice indeed. Well, Meera, as ever, it's always a great pleasure to talk to you. Again, congratulations on all the remarkable work that you've achieved this year. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks.